YouTube, it's Rachel here. So I originally wasn't ever gonna do story times, but I see so many story times and I'm like, you know what? My life has been uh eventful and I'm only like 25, so 26. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you about the first time I was almost abducted. I've been almost abducted like when I was younger, probably like two or three times. Uh, so I'll go with the first time. The first time I was probably like 13 and I lived in this really small town. It was kind of rural, like farmland, and so we had this Doberman, and it was huge, very vicious. My mom actually trained her to be a guard dog, and I would always walk her. And I went to the store, and it was the only time I didn't bring her for some reason. And I was on the phone. This is when we had flip phones. So I was okay, I walked to the store and I noticed this vehicle kind of like driving past me a couple times. Didn't really think anything of it. I was only a couple blocks away from my house. And so I go to the store, come back. It's probably like 11, maybe 11:30 at night, like 8 to my mom. Like, who the hell lets your kid out at like 12 midnight in like a ghetto ass town? And I'm pretty damn sure I was going to the store to get like chocolate or just some snacks or something. So I go there, come back, and I'm on the phone. And I actually was living in a trailer park at that time um, with my mom. And when you come in, there's like, there's the driveway, the entrance to the park, the trailer park, and there's those hedges, those like boxwood hedges, and this guy. So I'm walking and I see that car pulled over on the side, and you know, didn't really think anything of it. Well, no, that's not true. I did think something was weird. I was like, what the hell? That's weird. But the guy was in the car. The car was running. So I'm walking and I'm on the phone with my friend and I'm like, uh, I think someone's in the bush. She's like, what? I'm like, I think someone's in the bush. And as soon as I said that, the only way I could see that this guy was in the bush is he was wearing long sleeve, like a dark long sleeve shirt. And it was almost like one of those work shirts where they have writing on the side and it had yellow writing on the side. And he was really tall, like tall. And I was probably maybe like not even 5 feet then, probably under 4 feet. And he was super tall, and I was like, somebody's in the bush. And as soon as I said that, he lunges. He lunges at me, and I kick my shoes off because I had like crappy ass, those. Does everybody remember those skater shoes that are like flat, clunky, don't fit your feet? And I kicked them off and I screamed and I ran and I still have my phone in my hand and I'm on the phone with my girlfriend or my friend, whatever, and I book it home and I was like, damn, because he probably saw what trailer I went into. I mean, I don't know if he took off right away or what, but he had his buddy waiting for me and the trunk was facing, like, they had it all set up. Like, the trunk was facing us. So he was just gonna try to grab me and put me in the trunk, which is like so horrifying because in that area so many girls go missing. Like, it's not next to the Highway of Tears, but it's probably like 3 hours from the Highway of Tears. So in that area, girls were always getting grabbed. And yeah, so I kicked my shoes off and I ran, and my I think I probably hung up on on the phone too, and my mom was like, she had no idea. And the worst thing about it is that that night she had to do a night shift, so I was there alone, and I'm like, this guy probably saw what trailer I went into. I mean, you could, if you watched, you could probably see, but I screamed and I booked it. And I don't think I was in shape either. I think I was like a little bit overweight, like probably not in shape or anything. And yeah, so the cops come, don't do anything, blah blah blah. I go back, I get my shoes because I was like on the phone. I'm like, oh, my shoes. Like, I just got these new shoes. Like, probably the first new shoes I ever had in my life. And I lose them because of that. So I went back, I got my shoes, and it wasn't a big deal. And then that was like probably like 13. The second time, it wasn't really kidnapping or an abduction. It was more of like an assault, really. And I was probably like 14 or 15, and um, this was in more of a like a little bit bigger of a town. We were in a really nice area, but still a little bit rural. And I was probably with like a group of 5 people, 5 or 6 people, and we were drinking, doing something we shouldn't have been doing. Like, we were in the wrong for doing that. And it was around Christmas, and this block, it was a neighborhood and it was a block, and it was just by itself, like a little U U-shaped, I guess, little U-shaped neighborhood, and everybody had. This was when they had like reindeers that lit up, and me and my girlfriend, we were like a little bit tipsy. I don't drink now. I haven't drank in like probably 5 years, longer than that. I'm not a drinker. I do not support it, and I do not condone it, especially for younger people. I really think it's like a gateway drug to everything else that's terrible in this world. So, just to say that. But I was with my girlfriend, and we thought it would be funny to take all the reindeers and put it at the end house. Like, I don't know why we thought that was funny, but anyways, we're doing that. And I'd like to say that my friend, she had just had really bad surgery on her shoulder, and like, even if she was trying to put on her sweater or something, she was in so much pain. And she just got finally had surgery on it. And yeah, so as we're, and it was weird. We were walking, and I just looked at this telephone pole. Like, I just stared at it, like it was like burned in my memory, like some, as if I knew something bad was gonna happen, and the telephone pole was gonna be involved. And so we're messing around with these reindeer, and we put them on the end house. And this guy comes out of nowhere, and he chases. I think he tries to grab one of us, and we both book it, and we hop the fence, and she takes off into the bushes, and I keep going straight. And I'm like, he grabs me, and he grabs me by the back of the sweater, rips me down, pulls me down, so I go on the ground. And then I keep running. I get up, I keep running, and there's like this creek and a bridge, that little walkway bridge that goes over it. And all I remember is like, this guy was huge. Like, he was like a dad, like probably in his 40s at least. And he was like, I don't know, he was either jacked or like semi jacked or was fat. And he just grabbed me, and there was the railing. So the railing's right here. He literally takes all of his body weight and pushes forward and squishes me into the railing. And let me just remind you that I was not even 14. Like, I was not even 14. Sure, I shouldn't have been on somebody else's property and we shouldn't have been doing that. But technically, like, we didn't actually damage anything. And it wasn't just me. I mean, it was a whole group of people, a whole, like, probably three or four kids. We were walking around and, yeah, I don't know, like, why this guy, I mean, come to find out later, this guy, like, beats his family and beats his kids and, like, beats his wife and shit. So he, being a douchebag, thought that was okay. And yeah, he and after he did the thing on the walkway, like, he did something else too. Oh yeah, he drags me back up to the road, and one of my friends had a skateboard. They were like skaters, and I'm screaming at this guy like, "Oh, you effing loser! Oh, you do that to your wife too! Like, don't effing touch me, like, you're an effing pussy, like, F you," like, just running my mouth. I was so mad. And he turns around and he grabs me by the throat and just pushes me into the telephone pole. And I didn't really even feel it. Like, I felt like I didn't feel it. And one of my guy friends finally um, stood up and was just about to hit him with the skateboard, and he dropped me. And then the cops show up. Like, somehow the cops show up, and they didn't even do anything. Like, just because this guy had money and lived in a nice house, like, they didn't do anything. They just drove me home and did not do anything. And the next day, like, I literally, all my ribs were bruised. But I was thinking, like, wow, I am so happy that he grabbed me and not her, because she literally would have been in very, very bad condition if he was doing that to her, because I mean, she was so weak to begin with. Even with her, when we jumped the fence and she fell, like, that seriously hurt her. So imagine that, her being thrown around by a guy in that shape, like, it would have ruined her, it would have damaged her for life. Like, she already is damaged for life from that injury on her shoulder. So in the long run, like, I'm kind of happy that it happened to me and it didn't happen to her. And I'm trying to think if there was any other times. I feel like there has been a few other times that I was, like, almost abducted, like, just because, I don't know. I've been jumped a few times too, just, but those are the only two times that I really remember, like, them being a close call. Yes. So those are my two stories. I'm gonna do other stories too because I have so many of them, and it's not necessarily something that I like to speak about, and I'm like, oh, poor me, like, this happened. Um, you know, I it these things do happen, and I look back and I'm very thankful that my life has changed a lot, so much to where I'm not in the position for these things to happen. I mean, it could potentially happen to anybody, right? But, you know, my life has come so far and I've worked very hard um, to be where I'm at now. So um, yeah, it's not something that I really like to talk about very much anymore, but it is in my past, so whatever, it's like who I am in some way, I guess, right? Anyways, that's all I want to say for tonight. And yeah, if you have any questions or any other things you want to ask me, feel free. Okay, bye.